All right, welcome to another morning walk, and we are going to finish up our itinerary. We last left you in Cleveland, Ohio, and now we are going to make our way back home. Cleveland, Ohio is an NBA city. Jared will check off that on his list with the Cavaliers. And we do have a good high school friend who lives in Cleveland who we may be able to stop in and see. If he sees this, he can let us know through text message. From Cleveland, we are going to head up to Detroit on the way. We do have Cedar Point, lots of big roller coasters. I'm not a big roller coaster guy. I'm terrified of heights, but Caitlin is a big roller coaster gal. The kids like to think they like roller coasters until they actually have to get on the ride and then they're terrified. So if we have the time, we'll see what Cedar Point has to offer. And then we'll hit Detroit. So Detroit, we've got the Pistons, another NBA city. I have a very good friend in the Medicare space, so my real job, and we are gonna stop in and see her. So that'll be really fun to meet her in person because everything's been over Zoom. It's crazy how you can get to know so many people over Zoom these days, but you've never met them in person. Now on this walk, you will notice a couple of changes. One, I learned from the last video, if you haven't seen the last video, to wear sunglasses because the sun is super bright. What that also means is that in the reflection, you can probably see the camera. I do have a different camera for this video, and I would love your opinion on which camera is better, this camera or the one that I used for part 3. Also, it is breezy. I do have a microphone attached to me. I think it's just out of camera. It's down there. There you go. I don't know if you can see it. Anyway, we'll see if audio is okay here with the wind. From Detroit, we're going to head down to Indianapolis, another NBA city with the Pacers. So we'll go through Indianapolis and end up in Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville, Kentucky has the famous Churchill Downs where the Kentucky Derby is run. It has the Louisville Slugger Museum and Factory. The Muhammad Ali Center is also in Louisville, which would be really cool to see. Now from Louisville, we are going to head over to Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and we are going to pass through the very southern tip of Illinois. That is our Illinois experience. Olive Branch, that is where we will see. We aren't staying there, we'll just kind of be passing through there. Cape Girardeau is where a very close friend of mine is, very good business partner, so we're gonna go say hi to him and his team. Also in that area, we have the world's largest soda cup, and we have the world's famous Lambert's Cafe. I hear people fly in from all over to go to this cafe, so we're gonna experience that with my business partner and his family. Love me some good food. After Cape Girardeau, we are going to head to Omaha, Nebraska, and on the way there, we're gonna pass through Kansas City. Now, on the Missouri side, we have where the Kansas City Chiefs play. Jared is a big fan of Patrick Mahomes, and of course, the girlies are big fans of the Swiftie crowd. Pretty sure we're not gonna see any of them there, but I think that'll get the kids excited to go through Kansas City. Our Kansas experience will be on the Kansas side of Kansas City. I know, again, we're just barely touching Illinois, we're just barely touching Kansas. That's all we could pull off here on this itinerary. From Kansas City is then we just scoot up to Omaha, have another business partner in Omaha. We got a lot of business partners on this part of the journey, and so we'll see them in Omaha. You better believe that we'll have all kinds of Peyton Manning yelling out Omaha. Omaha! Omaha! In that experience. From Omaha, we're gonna cross through Iowa, pass through Des Moines. Now, Des Moines is actually like the insurance center of the United States. It is the 3rd largest insurance capital in the world, and given my profession, I mean, I don't know that I'm really gonna be looking up anything insurance-wise in Iowa, but hey, Des Moines, you've got a lot of insurance things going on. You also have the largest skate park in the United States in Des Moines. So we'll be passing through there and going to Madison, Wisconsin. I'm super pumped to be in Wisconsin. Growing up, I played on a basketball team, and our team name was the Badgers, and we were red and white. And even though I've never been to Wisconsin, I always had this affinity for the Wisconsin Badgers. So we'll go there. I have a very good friend who lives in Milwaukee, and I think that we'll have the chance to visit with him and his wife as we go through Wisconsin. The Milwaukee Bucks are in Wisconsin, but I don't think we'll be able to get all the way over to Milwaukee. So Jared's gonna miss out on that, but who knows? Who knows what the world and the future hold for us. From Wisconsin, we are gonna head up through Minneapolis. So we do have the Minnesota Timberwolves. Jared loves Anthony Edwards. We have the Mall of America, which I think will be a very fun thing for the kids to see. Caitlin and I did go to Minneapolis last year where we were able to see the Mall of America, and I think the kids will absolutely love it with the roller coasters and the Legoland and everything involved there. We'll end up staying in St. Cloud, that is just outside of Minneapolis. From St. Cloud, we head over to North Dakota, Fargo, and we are just gonna pass through Fargo on our way down to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, because we don't want to get murdered. If any of you have seen Fargo on TV, makes us a little bit nervous. Now, of course, it is TV, but Google does say that Fargo can be a dangerous place if you are in the wrong parts of Fargo. From Sioux Falls, we're gonna jet across South Dakota until we get to Mount Rushmore. And I would have to imagine that we're gonna have a bajillion questions around who's your Mount Rushmore of basketball? Who's your Mount Rushmore of singers? Who's your Mount Rushmore of cartoons? Who's your Mount Rushmore of travel YouTube channels? What an achievement to chisel out of rock massive faces of presidents. Now we're on the home stretch. So we go from Mount Rushmore down through Cheyenne, Wyoming. Again, we're just passing through, but that is our Wyoming experience until we get to Denver, Colorado. I have a very good friend who lives in Denver. One of my best friends of all time lives in Colorado Springs. Denver Nuggets are there for the NBA side of things and the reigning MVP. And then from Denver, we head home. Now there are a couple of routes. One is a little bit longer, but I think it's a little bit more scenic, going through Vail, Colorado and through the mountain pass there. So we'll head there until we get back to home. We are in a suburb of Salt Lake City, and that will wrap up our 48 state trip. Here's some stats for that final leg. We're going to be spending 58 hours or so in a car, traveling over 3,800 miles in about 9 days. So we are moving fast, spending a lot of time in the car. Hopefully we'll be able to break things up with a lot of fun things, get our legs moving, and get things figured out. Here's some stats for the overall trip. It's gonna take us about 6 weeks. We'll be going over 13,500 miles, and we'll be staying at 30 different hotels and resorts or whatever it may be. And I mentioned them in other videos, but this is again another opportunity to mention them, and that's ET Family Travel. I can't express it. I mean, they've just been so unbelievable with all of this and scheduling this out and helping us plan this, giving us tips and recommendations on what to do and what to avoid. So seriously, they are lifesavers here in the travel space, ET Family Travel. I have 2 more planning videos that I'm working on. One is going to be showing you our budget. So if you are interested in what that budget looks like for this whole trip, putting that together. And then Caitlin is going to be outlining a little bit around our exercise goals, maybe some exercise routines that I'll put out here, and then we'll be tracking that throughout this trip. So our opportunities to exercise, stick on budget, food, NBA cities, and NBA experiences. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this itinerary. We'll see how much of it we'll be able to hit. Just fingers crossed that the car stays okay, our health stays okay, and the weather stays okay. So I will see you over in the next video.